or welcome back to Game of Thrones and Thrones. My name's Hannah, and this is a weekly reading vlog. So, as per usual, we are kicking this off with a finished book. I started and finished Darwin's Dragons by Lindsey Galvin last night. I gave this 5 stars because, you know, big clue there. Basically, this is set in 1835. Cabin boy Sims Covington is on the voyage of a lifetime to the Galapagos Islands with the world famous scientist Charles Darwin. But when Sims falls overboard during a huge storm, he makes a discovery that could change the world. Now it's not just his own survival at stake, the future of an undiscovered species is in his hands. And I absolutely adored the way this was written. I mean, I can tell you what it is because there's clues all over it. The dragons in this had their own distinct personalities, and I absolutely fell in love with Farthing. She was just so inquisitive, such a driving force of the whole story, and I honestly think that without Farthing, we wouldn't have Sims. So, it's got 5 stars. And that got me I've been in the mood for middle grade for a while, and obviously because December is a mood read month for me, I'm just going to read middle grade for this week at least. I don't think I'll carry on after this week, but you never know. We can go with it. So next one I picked up is How Not to Be a Vampire Slayer by Katie Virgil, and this cover is so reflective, it's brilliant. But never go into Skeleton Woods, not if you want to come out alive, that is. Maggie Helsby isn't afraid of spooky legends, and she's willing to prove it. But when she agrees to a date to venture into the forest, she doesn't expect to find 1. A creepy castle enchanted against humans, 2. A vegetarian vampire who wants to be her friend, and 3. An ancient book naming her as the latest of the Helsby Slayers. Can Maggie persuade her family, her new human friends, and the greedy Mayor Cauliflower, that their nocturnal neighbours need protecting just as much as they do, or will her neck be on the line? Featuring fluffy bats, creaking coffins, and lashings of tomato ketchup, this book will have you howling with laughter. So I've just got to chapter 5, which is page 54, and this book only has about 260 pages. So far, Maggie has moved into the creepy house next to the creepy woods. She's met her 2 friends, Ari and Miles, and Ari is very outgoing. Miles is a bit of a neat freak. And Maggie just slips right in there. She's making friends, and in her last school she was a little bit odd because she didn't get scared. She didn't get nightmares, and she ended up telling all the kids in her class to watch a scary movie that she enjoyed, but they didn't, which made them think of her as a freak. So they've moved into her dad's uncle, or her dad's great uncle. Either way, there's an Uncle Bram, and they've moved into his house, and his house has garlic planted in the garden everywhere. So, methinks Bram might be short for Abraham. Van Helsing. Anyway, I'm enjoying it so far. I love how unapologetic Maggie is. Miles is just a down-to-earth kind of guy. Ari just enjoys being the centre of attention. So, hoping I can get that read soon, because it's, like I say, it's only about 200 and odd pages, and the writing's the text isn't too bad, it's not too big, it's not too small, and it is a really quick read when I do get the chance to read it. This week, Friday, I'm doing 7-3 at work, so I'm working at home, so more reading time, yay. I am only working until Thursday, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday I'm at work. Friday is Panto Day. Oh no it isn't, oh yes it is. Yeah, it's Panto Day, so I have the day off, and obviously I'm going with some with family and some family friends, so probably won't plug that. But before, I am going to have some cocktails and a nice tapas meal with my sister, so I'll probably get some B-roll footage of that. Then Saturday, it's Sean's cousin's birthday. Well, I think it's his birthday on the 19th, but he's invited us to go to a Chinese buffet on the Saturday. So busy, and then Sunday, obviously, I'm back home. Then the week after, I'm back in the office doing 8-4, but on Friday I did find out if I was successful for that new role, at work. If I am, that means no more shift, I can just work they'll be a bit flexible with it, because obviously I have to travel quite far, so they'll be flexible with it, but I'll only be working between 8 and 5, and they aren't as rigid as they are on the service desk where I currently work. So wish me luck for that one. But yeah, that's it for this update. I'll probably be back at some point later to tell you final thoughts on How Not to Be a Vampire, but so far it's a very... I'm only like 5 chapters in, so I can't really give you full feelings so far, but I am enjoying it. I think it's a 3-4 stars so far, but I guess I'm only like a quarter of the way through, if that. So I'll leave this update here and come back to you later. So it's still Monday, it's only about 20 to 8, and I finished How Not to Be a Vampire Slayer by Katie Virgil. I thought this was quite funny. I love the way that they wind up cauliflower. I love the way they wind him up. Both Maggie and Sharptooth defy the expectations put on them by family, or in Sharptooth's side, the expectations of the Count. Count Bloodthirst. You know them with names. But I love how they play on the expectations, because obviously Maggie, it happens quite late during the book, but it tells you at the end, tells you in the synopsis that this is happening. But Maggie obviously is told that she has to be a slayer and she has to kill her new friend Sharptooth, where Sharptooth has been told since her transformation that she is the chosen leader and it is her job to lead the vampires. Now, Sharptooth is the brightest star ever. She is so funny, she's so wanting to try things for the first time. She lives off beetroot juice and tomato ketchup. She's a vegetarian, she doesn't want to hurt people, and she thinks that vampires are a little bit stuck in their ways and wants to change that. So this is contemporary, it is fun, it is cute, it did make me laugh, and I probably will look at Katie Virgil's other books, I think. And she has a rescue dog called Bono, which is so cute. But yeah, 4 stars. The next book, I have pulled out all of my middle grade right here. So from there is one more middle grade that was shelved on the children's section in Waterstones, but I don't really fancy reading that one just yet. So from the top we have Wild Spark by Ashley Hardy, Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones, Crowfall by Ashley Hardy, Dragon City by Katie and Kevin Sang. Pages and Code, the first book, Tilly and the Book Wanderers by Anna James. The Adventures on Trains, The Highland Falcon Thief by M.G. Leonard and Sam Sedgman. This is actually really quite heavy. Adventures on Trains. The Strange Worlds Travel Agency by L.B. Levinsky. Ship of Shadows by Maria Krisnia. And the second book in the Nevermore series, Wonder Smith, The Calling of Morrigan Court by Jessica Townsend, and that was heavy. So, because I am obsessed with the series right at this moment, I think I gave the first 2 books 5 stars. I'm going to be reading Dragon City by Katie and Kevin Sang. Now this is the 3rd in the Dragon Realm series, which started with Dragon Mountain. So obviously I can't talk too much about this one, but in Dragon Mountain we meet Billy and his 4 friends and his 3 friends, Dylan, Lindsey, and my favourite character is Charlotte. They are all in this summer camp in China. Billy is there to learn about his heritage, but it suddenly becomes clear that obviously Billy is 2nd generation Chinese American. I believe his parents were immigrants, or his grandparents were, and they don't want Billy to lose that part of himself, so they ship him off to China by himself, which was a little bit defy logic, you know. Suspend your disbelief at that point. But all of these kids have been chosen to go to this summer camp for one very special reason, and we find that out as the book goes on. Why can I never get stickers off books? But we also find out that in this there is a mountain called Dragon Mountain, and it appears that these 4 dragons have been trapped. From there, the kids and the dragons go on a very, very, very dangerous mission, I want to say, but which continues in Dragon Legend, and I cannot get this sticker off, but I can't tell you anything about Dragon Legend without spoiling Dragon City, apart from the ending shook me. I did not see that coming at all, let alone for a kids book, so it did end on such a massive cliffhanger that I determined to pick this up as soon as I could, and that is just what I fancied. So I need to get the sticker off somehow and read this, and I'll probably come back to you later. 3 updates in one day, and it's only Monday? I must be on a roll. That's what happens when you read middle grade. This book is definitely a 5-star read. The whole series is a 5-star, but can I tell you? One of the dragons in this gets really badly hurt. One of my favourite dragons as well can get really badly hurt. But it does have a happy ending, and I don't know what else to tell you, because obviously this is the 3rd in the Dragon Realm series, but I think this is my best book of 2021, hands down. I think this is it. It made me cry. It's a kids book, and it made me cry. But I think that's it for the reading today, because it is getting late and I do have to be up somewhat early tomorrow for work. That's crazy. This is like, if we include Darwin's Dragons, even though I read that on Sunday, we are at 3 books already for this one. I think reading middle grade is the way to go for me when I need a boost. even if this broke my heart and did in a bit of that. But yeah, that's it for today. I think I'll see you tomorrow. Wednesday, and as you'll have seen from the little B-roll footage, I started reading Pages and Co. by Anna James. This is book 1, Tilly and the Bookwatchers. And I'm only on to chapter 4, which is page 50, and this book is fairly chunky. It is about 384 pages. It is a bit chunkier than the previous 2 books I've read for this blog. I've decided that we are just going to roll with this middle grade madness that's happening. I should probably have this finished sooner rather than later. But so far, not much has happened. We've just met Tilly, we've been introduced to her grandparents, who she lives with. We know her dad died, and her mother isn't around. She abandoned Tilly with her grandparents when she was a baby, and so far that's all I know. We know that Tilly lives in the bookshop. She lives, well, her grandparents own the bookshop and she lives with her grandparents. The bookshop is called Pages and Co, which I think is a brilliant name for a bookshop, especially since Tilly and her grandparents are Pages. That's their name. I think that's so witty. But so far we have had a couple of name drops for other authors, and what I liked about this one is that it doesn't really focus too much on the books yet, but there is a dyslexic character in here as well, and Tilly it's her neighbour, Oscar. He's been introduced as dyslexic, and Tilly just rolling with it. She doesn't care that Oscar reads a little bit slower, and I do like that, and I'm losing the thing. Yeah, so Oscar is dyslexic and he is Oskar, which I think is quite a nice spelling. But if you don't know what this is about, it follows 11-year-old Tilly, who has lived above her grandparents' bookshop ever since her mother disappeared. One day, Tilly's favourite book characters appear in the shop, and she discovers she can follow them into their worlds through the magic of book wandering. Can her new power solve the mystery of what happened to her mother all those years ago? So I am enjoying it so far. It is a little bit slower than the other middle grades I've read this week, but this is like 3 times the size of those other middle grades. So it's got time to build up. I think this is older middle grade, whereas Dragon City, and what was the other one? Darwin's Dragons. They're probably on the younger end of middle grade just because of the length of the book. But I have high hopes for this one. I know Jade from JD Reads didn't particularly like it that much, but I do know that Galvin from How to Train Your Dragon did enjoy it. So we have different opinions on this, so I'm just going to make my own mind up. It's a book about books. But that's it for this update, because I'm just going to read. I think I might try and find a reading room on YouTube once I've caught up with the booktube. But I'll let you know. I always do. Wednesday, another book down. You'll have seen from the B-roll that I picked up at Pages and Co. Tilly and the Book Wanderers, which is book 1 by Anna James. I thought this was quite cute and fairly slow going for a kid's book. I think this is definitely on the upper end of middle grade as opposed to the younger end of middle grade. Just because it is fairly substantial and it is a little bit slower than the middle grades that I personally am used to, and I think this might lose the younger audience. I do love the nods to all of the different book characters in here. The way that the book wandering is explained is very logical to me as an adult or 27-year-old adult, so you know, that makes sense. I gave this 4 stars, but let's be honest, after anything I read after Dragon City, which was a book that broke my heart in 2 and then glued it back together and then broke it again, was going to be hard pressed to get a 5-star after that book, which I think is still my favourite. But this got a very respectable 4-star, and I will be continuing with the sequel. So that puts us at what? 3 books in 3 days? Or is it 4 books in 3 days? 1, 2, 3. 3 books in 3 days, which is good going if you ask me, because I finished Darwin's Dragons on Sunday. I started and finished that on Sunday. I read How Not to Be a Dragon Slayer. Then I finished that on Tuesday. then read Dragon City and finished that all. No, it's 3 books in. Hang on. 1, 2, 3. It's 3 books in 2 days. I knew there was a day that I read 2 books. Anyway, back on track now. So I think because it is still only Wednesday, I need to pick up another middle grade. And I think I'm going to pick up Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. It is over there. I can't be bothered to pick it up. But as far as I know, it follows Sophie, who is a daughter of a hat maker, and she is content with her life, but she angers the Wicked Witch of the Wastes and is cursed to be an old woman. And Sophie goes on an adventure, comes across Howl in his moving castle, and in the movie version, Howl helps Sophie to break the curse, and they fall in love. And there is Calcifer, who is a little fire demon. I so hope Calcifer is in this book, but I don't know how faithful the anime version by Miyazaki. I'm probably wrong, but the Studio Ghibli is. I don't know how faithful that is to the original book. So we will find out. I will find out and report back. I was going to say we'll find out together, but I'm reading it, you're not. So I'll read it, I'll find out, and then I'll report back to you. But I get to wear these today. Holla! They smell funny though. Why did I just sniff them? Twice. So yeah, I get to wear these. And I'm going to be reading Howl's Moving Castle. Hi guys, apologies if the sound's a little bit off. I've lost the little furry thing that goes on top of my microphone. Again, it'll be in my room somewhere. But I've been finished work for about 2 hours. It's about 6 o'clock now, I want to say. It's 5 o'clock. I've still been finished for 2 hours because I finished at 3. And I've just been working on a uni essay. I have to write a script for this essay, which is interesting. I digress. I did restart Howl's Moving Castle. So far it is the same as the movie. I'm on chapter 11, but there is a little bit of more of a subplot, in the sense that Sophie's sisters are major. They are a lot more involved in this version. One sister, she has 2 sisters, Letty and Martha, and they've switched places. And one sister has a thing for Howl, and he a thing for her. And then the other sister has a thing, the younger sister has a thing for Michael, who is Howl's apprentice. So those 2 weren't in the movie, but it's a nice addition, I think. It is very whimsical, but it's almost slow whimsy. Does that make sense at all to anybody? But yeah, it's a slow whimsy, and I'm quite enjoying it. It's a nice change of pace from the other books that I'm reading, because there is that bit of adventure, but you can tell that something is building up, and hopefully the ending is just as beautiful as I remember from the film. But obviously with these 2 extra characters, and Calcifer is in this, so that makes me so happy. And I think from little hints that have been dropped, and from what I remember of the movie, I think that part of the story is the same. And the ginger scene, if you've seen the movie, you'll know what I mean by the ginger scene. That is in here as well. I think with this Sophie, her character seems a little bit more sturdy, I'd say. And there are a little bit of a hint of Sophie being magical herself, which I don't really think is touched upon in the movie. But that's why movies, TV shows and books, if they're all based on the same source material, can't be judged against each other, because they're just different mediums and they're going to be expressed and performed and enjoyed differently. So I'll leave you with that, and thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I kid. So I'm just going to read for a bit. I'll probably work on that script for uni tomorrow because I'm off. Haha! And if I remember, I will get footage for you. And you obviously won't be filming the pantomime because, you know, that's not allowed. But I'll probably get some footage of cocktails and tapas with my sister, and maybe some footage of Newcastle Christmas Market. And let's see if I remember to put it in. So we'll see what happens there. But I think that's it for this update. I'll probably let you know when I finish this, because I shouldn't take too long, even if it's tomorrow morning that I update you. But yeah, I'll speak to you in a bit. Good morning, lovely people. It is a Friday. I have a Christmas t-shirt on that I'll show you properly later. I'm going to sneeze. Nope, it's gone. Nope, still there. We'll just bear with it if it comes out. But I finished. Sorry, I forgot to sneeze. But I finished Howl's Moving Castle last night. I thought it was okay. I kind of prefer the movie, and I think that's because the movie is a lot simpler. By that I mean the book has extra characters, an extra little plot line, which I did enjoy. I just didn't love, and I think it, coming from someone who saw the movie first and then realised it was a book and then was hesitant to pick up that book because that movie was so good, I think the whole simplicity of the movie was what I enjoyed, as well as it being so visually stunning. It's the Howl's Moving Castle movie by Studio Ghibli. Why can't you see? I tried to do this in both ears, but you know, you never see that one. Anyway, so I gave that 4 stars. I did enjoy it. I do see why it was picked up by Studio Ghibli, because the imagery in the text is beautiful. I thought I was walking across Ingary. And I love the aspects of, is this a spoiler? Maybe. But I love how we got more of Howl's background in this one. And Howl, Howl, is an abbreviation of a very typical Welsh name, Howl, which probably means nothing in my accent, which butchers names, but Howell, and that does make sense as you read it. So I did enjoy that aspect of it, and it didn't slow down too much, and I am considering picking up the sequels just to see where the story goes, because I loved it. I did really enjoy it. I just didn't, well, I loved it, but I couldn't rate it 5-star because that one was rating on nostalgia, to be honest. Then I picked up Wonder Smith, The Calling of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This is book 2 in the Nevermore series, which started off with Nevermore I just noticed Nevermore, it had another name. It's Nevermore, there's something, The Trials of Morrigan Crow. And obviously this is a sequel, so I can't talk too much about it. But in that, in this one, we pick up with Morrigan, who is celebrating her 12th birthday and is dealing with the events of the first book. Now, in the first book, we meet Morgan, who is an 11-year-old child. She's an 11-year-old girl who is quite depressed because she has been raised to believe that she is a cursed child, and by that, anything that goes wrong in her village, it's automatically her fault, whether that's logical or not. And some of the things she was blamed for was actually quite funny, and she's made to apologise to these adults who should know better. But the downside to that, for her at least, is that she is going to die on the eve of her 12th birthday or 11th birthday. I can't quite remember the details, but I know she's either 11 or is about to turn 11. So she has that curse on her. Then there is this bidding day type thing where the children are bought, well, they are sold into apprenticeships by esteemed members of that community, and lo and behold, Morgan receives 3 bids, and it is passed off as just a quirk of her curse. It's not taken seriously until she actually meets Jupiter North. Now, Jupiter North is ginger, and he's brilliant, and I don't know why I felt the need to mention that he was ginger. But yeah, he's ginger, and he is the mentor that Morgan needs, but he is hiding secrets of his own. And I think in this one particular, even though I am only 4 chapters in, I'm about to start chapter 5, I think we are going to see more of that side of Jupiter, the secret keeping side. And I know that Becca in the books loves this story, as well as Jade from JD Rereads and Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin. So they are who I tend to go to for middle grade. And even though I liked Pages more and Jade didn't, but we can't all be the same. Be boring if we were. Yeah, I think that's it for this update. So far, I am enjoying it. I am off today, which is why this update is in the middle of the morning. It's about 20 to 10. So because today, if you haven't been bored of me saying it already, is Christmas pantomime day and Christmas jumper day. So I got the day off from work because I didn't want to run the risk of either missing the pantomime or having to take my laptop with me to the theatre, which is always going to be a fun ride. But yeah, I think I might go downstairs and do a bit of reading, do a bit of time watching, and then I'm debating on having fish and chips for dinner because I can. And I'll let you see how that goes. It's Sunday, I'm a terrible vlogger, and this is the second time I've had to start this clip. First time the microphone wasn't on. But anyway, I forgot to film everything this weekend because, I forgot. But I did finish Wondersmith, The Calling of Morgan Crow. Just right here. I gave it 4 stars. I did enjoy it. I really enjoyed it. I just didn't have that connection that I had with the first book, which is fine because you can't love every book. I will be carrying on with the sequel though. So that takes us to 5 books in a week. Not bad going at all. But I did pick up 2 more. I picked up both sequels, both hardcover. I picked up Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong. This is the sequel to Our Violent Delights, which is a Romeo and Juliet retelling in the 1920s in Shanghai, in which we follow Roma and Juliet, who are heirs to rival gangs, and there's something in Shanghai trying to kill everyone. Then we have Kingdom of the Cursed by Kerry Maniscalco. This is Go to Kingdom of the Wicked, in which we follow Amelia, who is a witch, and in the first book she's a twin. Her twin is murdered. They're both witches, and Amelia turns up with Wrath, one of the 7 princes of hell, to find out what's going on. And these two are obviously the fallout from the first 2 books. But that's, I think I'm going to call this vlog an end here. And that's it. I don't know what I'm going to be reading next week, because mood reading seems to be the way forward for me, at least this month. But yep, that's it for this vlog. Give it a like if you liked it, and hit that subscribe button if you want to see this, talk about these, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!